I, female 25, discovered that my ex-boyfriend, male 26, had been cheating on me for 5 months. I was really devastated and felt a lot of rage inside me, especially after buying him a new PlayStation 5 since he wanted one but couldn't afford it. I was saving up a lot of money to buy him the console with some games. We've been dating for 3 years and living together for a year and a half. I immediately kicked him out after his side girl messaged me apologizing, not knowing that he had a girlfriend. I didn't believe her because I trusted my boyfriend a lot, but she came with receipts. They were a lot of messages where he flirted with her and sent NDS. I was disgusted, really disgusted. The worst part is when I confronted him, he didn't even try to deny it and called me boring. He insulted me a lot, saying I was no fun and he deserves better. I was really enraged, and for the first time, I slapped him. He was shocked, so was I, because I was never violent with him and always tried to solve things quietly, but he made my blood boil. I started screaming at him that he doesn't do anything around here and never paid rent because he's a lazy, jobless piece of shit who can't even bother looking for a decent job. At one point I mentioned how he will never get the PS5 that I bought and return it soon to the store. He looked like a deer in headlights. That bastard. He immediately changed his attitude and acted sorry, started apologizing and crying, saying he never meant to cheat and promised he would make it up to me. He's a disgusting pig. He never cared for my feelings. He only cared when I mentioned something he wanted. Such hypocrisy. I wasted no time and kicked him out. He's still sending me a lot of texts filled with apologies and even an ugly photo of him crying. I told him to not waste his time because he won't get the PS5. We're done. Then I blocked him. I won't take the PS5. I already have one, but I remembered that my parents were planning on buying it for my little brother. The plan was going to be them buying the PS5 and I will buy the games for it with an extra PS Store gift card, but looks like I will give my parents a call and tell them there's a change in our plans for my brother's gift. Update. Today was amazing. I celebrated Christmas with my family, my parents and little brother. My parents cooks the best food, so I ate well after not having an appetite for a few days. It was wonderful. As for my parents' agreement about the gift, we agreed on something. I'll give the PS5 and games to my brother. My parents bought an Oculus for my brother's new PS5 and other accessories for the console. When the time came for the presents, I was shocked to learn that my brother got me an expensive gift. He got me some makeup from Sephora and a gift card. My parents then informed me that my brother was saving for my gift since the beginning of the year. I cried. I literally start bawling my eyes out. Then I gave him a big hug. My baby. I thanked him a lot for the gift and said that I loved it. When he opened my parents' present, he was really confused and stated that he doesn't have a picosecond 5 for this Oculus. I told him to open my gift. When he opened it, he started crying and immediately hugged me. I don't know what came over me and I started crying with him. I really love my brother. He's a sweet little boy and a good behaved kid. He's 12 BTW. That's why he deserved every gift he got. It was expensive, yes, but it was worth every penny to see him happy. After we all opened our gifts, I helped him set up the PS5 in his room and played some games together. Suddenly, he tells me that he loves me and I'm the best big sister in the world. For the third time, I started crying, probably because I'm on my period and my hormones are not making it any better. So yeah, there you have it. I had the best Christmas with my family, and seeing my brother so happy was worth the heartbreak I went through. As for my garbage ex, he's still making new accounts on Instagram to apologize. I told him to fuck off, and I know that's he's only apologizing because he wants the PS5, not because he's feeling guilty. I mentioned that I gave it to someone who deserves it way more than he does. He started cursing at me and I said if he didn't leave me alone I'll report him to the police for harassment. He stopped after that and I never heard from him ever since. So that's all for the update. Happy holidays everyone. I still astonished that the ex thought he could get away with pulling a 180 from not denying insulting OOP, to suddenly being remorseful because the scrub was and going to get his PS5. Like, did he really think this tactic was going to work? That little brother deserved the gift, and I'm glad that this was the best ending for OOP. That was the first story, and now we are going to listen to today's second story. My husband had been in a relationship for 6 years. We got married 3 years ago. I thought our relationship was perfect. There was never any signs of anything being wrong. He came home on time every day and left for work on time every day. He was always affectionate and I thought our relationship was perfect. But then when he was in the shower I saw a notification on his phone. It was from a girl on Instagram I'd never seen before. I opened his phone with his passcode. He'd always been very open with me about his passcode and things like that. I'd never checked his phone before because I didn't feel I had to. When I opened Instagram, which I didn't even know he had downloaded, I found a bunch of messages to small influencers who posted revealing photos. I am in no way against them, but my husband was clearly flirting with them. His account had some photos of him with some heavy filtering and his bio said he was 25 and single. I was shocked, obviously, and just keep staring at the phone. But I couldn't stop looking. I took screenshots and sent them to myself with the usernames of the girls. When my husband came out of the shower he found me crying and on his phone. He quickly realized what happened and started to comfort me and tell me it was just a one-time mistake. I asked if he had gone on dates or slept with any other women. Then he got angry and started shouting at me that I invaded his privacy. He kicked me out of the house and I went to a friend's home. I'd never seen that side of him before. In 6 years he'd always been so sweet and loving. Sometimes he'd get angry, sure, but everyone did and I can't blame him for that. I know men have urges to cheat sometimes because it's just how they are biologically, so I don't blame him. I just wished he'd talk to me. My friend told me I'm being delusional and made a good point about how he hadn't apologized yet. I thought I should post here after lurking for a while and ask for some advice on what I should do because I feel so lost right now. Update 1. I read a lot of comments and advice people gave me and I realized I deserved better than that. I deserved someone that loved me for me and wouldn't need someone else to satisfy them. But something about everything really bugged me. In the screenshots that I had, there was this girl. The girl was like the main person he texted and flirted with. She was 23 and I just felt so horrible because she seemed so in love with him. I found her Instagram and I messaged her. I thought that she deserved to know what happened. She was pissed when she found out what was happening. So I can stop referring to her as she, I'll call her J. J was clearly upset at the whole situation and kept apologizing to me. Then she asked if she could take me out for coffee to talk about this whole situation. I agreed because I was curious. So basically we met up the following day and I talked to her about my husband and she told me about how they met and how long they had been dating. He went behind my back and dated her for 10 months. 10 months, which was just insane to me that he managed to find the time in between without me noticing. But here's the kicker. He was still texting her. I quickly learned that Jay was a very vengeful person because she told me that she wanted to lead my husband on for me. She told me that she herself had been cheated on before and was not going to let another cheater get off the hook like that. Jay gave me a pep talk about how I'm a strong, powerful woman and we need to stick together, which was honestly really refreshing. She said that she'd continue to flirt with him and etc. and try to get him to let her come to our house. Apparently he only met her at hotels or at her home and then she'd get a bunch of glitter and throw it all over his stuff. Honestly, it made me laugh to think about because my husband would be so angry. So I allowed her to do that because honestly I don't care about any of my stuff that'll get damaged in the process. I wasn't a big spender, so I didn't have much and I wouldn't be surprised if what I did have was already destroyed by him. Update 2. I've tried writing this post lots of times but I couldn't figure out how I wanted to do it. There's been so much going on and it's been crazy, so I'm sorry if this doesn't make much sense and for the slow update. So at first I was staying with my friend who for the sake of consistency we'll call KK, has been a huge help and I have appreciated her so much. Jay was originally going to go through with the glitter plan. She updated me every step of the way, even sending me pictures of her buying the glitter. She'd send me screenshots of the texts between her and my husband. It didn't even take her long to convince my husband to let her come over because he clearly thought since I was gone I wouldn't find out. Jay told me they watched a movie and before things escalated they went to the bathroom, in which she quickly pulled out the glitter and threw it at his side of the closet in our bedroom. She then ran. taking a few photos of the crime scene before she left. My husband was furious. It was this bright pink glitter that was sprayed all over his work clothes. I'm the one who does the laundry, so he had no way of figuring out how to get it out. The funniest part is this man had the audacity to call me an hour after she left and beg me to come home, probably to clean his clothes. Honestly, I wish I could show you how he sounded when I said no and that I was filing for divorce. He was so shocked and kept stumbling over his words. He never expected that I'd have the guts to do it. The months following weren't easy, and my ex-husband was not cooperating or being easy when I was trying to divorce him. He'd switch between calling me a dirty whore bitch to sobbing and begging me to forgive him. J and K were my rocks and made sure that I didn't forgive him. I'm so grateful for them because at some points I felt like giving up and taking him back. J especially was great because as much as I love K, she's very traditional. A little background I guess, but I didn't have many friends, and when I got married I had even fewer. My husband didn't like me going out much. The only friend that I had to fight to keep was K. She's my childhood best friend. Kay at first let me stay at her house and she was shocked by husband's betrayal. She thought we'd eventually get back together. After seeing all the horrible names he called me though, she quickly switched to my side, but I know she still has some thoughts that she's not expressing with me. Jay knew what it was like to be cheated on in a long-term relationship, and she had gotten out of an abusive relationship too. It was like a breath of fresh air because she was the complete opposite of me. She was very loud and outgoing. She's a huge feminist and was so sad that I was so isolated from my femininity. Jay often took me out shopping and encouraged me to be bold and pick things that I like for me. We ended up going on a road trip together during early March because I was really struggling with my ex-husband and I was exhausted. So we went camping together for a week with no internet connection. That was my first time camping and it was really fun, but definitely never again. Hiya. Last week my ex-husband tried showing up at K's place where I'm staying, and there was a whole issue cause he knew K wouldn't be home when he came. It was so scary. He was pounding on the door like crazy and screaming. I feel so bad for the neighbors. Luckily Jay had been over when he showed up because she gave him a mouthful and told him that if he didn't leave she was going to call the police. I'm so grateful for her because I was just frozen and watching this unfold. I've never been good with conflict. Anyways, yeah, that's kinda what's been going on so far. IDK, I'm really hoping my ex-husband leaves me alone. I'll update you guys if anything interesting happens. Lol. Update 3. I recently got out of a horrible marriage from the help of my best friend and my ex-husband's mistress. Jay has been so lovely and a huge support. She's shown me how to be independent and actually enjoy myself. I've always been expected to act quiet and do as I'm told, but she showed me how to stick up for myself and to do things just because I want to. She's super fun and kind and I appreciate her so much. Here's the issue though. I think I romantically like her, which is crazy to me because I've never even thought about women that way and I only just got out of a relationship. I don't know what to do. I feel like a high school girl when I'm around her. I get butterflies in my stomach and she makes me so happy. I've been doing research on this kind of thing and I still don't know if I'm gay or not, but I don't know what to do. I really like her and I want to ask her on a date, but I don't even know if she likes women. Also, I don't want to lose her as a friend if this all goes south. I'm just so lost. It doesn't help that she's super affectionate with me. Like the other day we were having a movie night and she fell asleep on my shoulder and I practically melted. I've been so nervous around her recently and I'm scared she's going to suspect something. Anyone have any advice? I would post on relationship advice, but they took my post down the first time I ever posted, so I'm kinda scared to post there again. Aita forgot to mention, but yeah, she's very much not dating my ex-husband. She was disgusted when she found out and immediately wanted to make it up to me. I posted about it before, so yeah. Update 4. I tried posting this to another sub but I don't think it went through, so I'm back to my favorite subreddit for this stuff. My 25F, ex-husband 30M, have been thinking about getting back together. My roommate, J24F, who is also my best friend, doesn't know, but I know she would be totally against it. It's a long story. I posted about it on my profile, but in summary, my husband cheated on me a lot. Jay was one of his affair partners. I reached out to Jay. She had no idea and we became best friends from there. Has helped me through so much. I was really struggling with a divorce and she gave me a place to stay. She cheered me up and showed me who I am outside of my husband. But recently my husband showed up to the apartment begging for me to take him back. It was so scary. He looked horrible. He was crying and telling me he didn't know what to do without me. He told me that his mother was sick and she was getting worse. He ended up convincing me to go on one date with him, but then I felt like I was leading him on, so I kept hanging out with him. He's nicer now. He tells me he loves me now and he buys me flowers. It's starting to feel like when we first met. This has only been happening for about 2 months now and nobody knows. But he's really pushing for it to be public. I can make it public without my best friend knowing, and she'd hate me for it. She hates my ex-husband with a burning passion. She hates him for how he hurt me and how he hurt her. She's extremely protective of me and will think he's holding me hostage or something. I really don't want to lose her, but I miss my husband. I miss being a wife. We haven't even fully gone through with the divorce yet because he's been so against it, but it seems we might not need it. Plus she'll think it's going too fast since I plan on moving out soon too. Oh honey, he did change. He just learned how to hide his cheating better is all. He'll start keeping a burner phone so that she won't suspect a thing. Sure, on the outside, he'll let her check his phone, because after all he's a changed man. But in reality he'll still be sneaking around for some loving from someone else. And the next woman won't be as nice as Jay and lead him on. I get the feeling this was her first serious relationship and she's afraid to be alone. Thanks for listening everyone. If you enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Red Relationships to never miss a future upload.